Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Matt Diazable. If you don't know me, I do music reviews. Thank you for coming on by. Today, a legendary rap group has made a final return here in the year 2025, and that is the group called Clipse with their latest album called Let God Sort 'Em Out. If you don't know, Clipse is a hip hop duo that is based out of Virginia Beach, made up of brothers Pusha T and No Malice. They are known for having some really gritty street level lyrics and quite minimalist kind of production. And that's all thanks to, one of their long time producers, Pharrell Williams of the Neptunes. And he really helped craft and helped them to get like mainstream success with their song Grinding off the album from Lord Willin from 2002. They were really one of the hottest groups around the early 2000s with, like I said, the album Lord Willing, their second album, Hell Hath No Fury, and their last album, till this latest album, till the casket drops. And they've been known to talk about, gritty street life, drugs, and just growing up in a struggling environment. And they kind of took a hiatus back in like 2009 where Pusha T had a more larger and bigger solo career while his brother kind of stepped away from I would say the rap game. Essentially, he still rapped here and there in Christian rap, but he wasn't doing as much as his other brother, Pusha T. But with this latest album, they've really come back together and they're bringing some really, really interesting, introspective, and very, very dark music here. And on this album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, Clipse is returning with a very haunting, deeply textured project here that really reaffirms why they are one of the most vital hip hop groups in the hip hop genre. It's an album that is very rooted in moral neutrality and a lot of emotional weight, paired with really grim reflections of violence, faith, and survival of, yourself, with innovative production here that blends vintage, soul, gospel, and futuristic synths into a very tightly made record. And just with the opening song, The Birds Don't Sing, the tone is immediately set here with, Clipse being very introspective and very emotionally raw. The track's imagery of pain and loss are underscored by, John Legend's aching vocals during the chorus. And it signals that, this music is not all about, drugs and bravado. It's about consequence. It's about loss. It's about depression and dread. You can really feel it in all the vocal performances. And this theme just ripples out throughout this whole album, whether it's, referencing addiction, grief, or existential worriness. And that's because, the duo's lyrics here are all shaded with a lot of heaviness and just dread and dark experiences that they've lived through. But through and through, there's a lot of grit and there's a lot of fire on this record. Tracks like Chains and Whips and Ace Trumpets do a really good job of channeling some really dark energy here, paired with some really deep bass lines and some ominous guitars and just lyrical precision. Push's voice carries a very coarse authority feel to it, while Malice, now fully reintegrated after his very long absence, he's bringing a very renewed sense of purpose and depth to his lyrics and vocal performances. His lyrics often, double as spiritual reflections while also having very street knowledge wrapped up in it as well, accumulating into moments that feel very confessional while also feeling very confrontational at the same time. The production throughout this whole album is both nostalgic and forward thinking, and their longtime collaborator Pharrell Williams is very central to that vision. He does a really good job of blending, retro 70s textures with some shimmering synths that also have some very soulful instrumentation, like on the tracks So Far Ahead and By the Grace of God. They just have really good production on these tracks. There's this lived in, almost analog warmth to the songs that gives the album a very cinematic feel, even though, it's exploring a lot of cold realities. And the guest features on here feel like they have a very good intention and restraint to them. Kendrick Lamar brings a lot of urgency and gravity. Tyler, the Creator, kind of comes in and injects a lot of dynamic flows with his bars. And then you have The Dream that has some really ghostly harmonies that you really elevate the atmospheric layers to the song, all things considered. Even Nas, though he does seem a bit slightly subdued at times, does add a lot of weight to the album's thematic climax, the song Let God Sort 'Em Out, Chandelier. He does a lot of really good rapping here that just gives it a nice punch. And one of the most compelling things about this record is how Clipse is able to balance out their legacy while also, you know, exploring their evolution, like on the songs EBITDA and FICO. And seeing the brothers, you know, exchange bars with each other creates like a very interesting chemistry that only decades of partnership can really create and produce, while also acknowledging the toll of their past lives. And there's a very good clarity to their storytelling here. You know, you get a sense of wariness that never really feels like, you know, it's being too defeated. They just bring that raw feel. Even when the energy kind of dips slightly, like some of the choruses feel a little undercooked, and there's a few like flows and bars that feel like there's a little bit of a lack of urgency, the album never ever really loses its message. And ultimately, Let God Sort 'Em Out is more of like, it's not really like a return to form, it's more like a progression of the group. And Clipse just simply hasn't, you know, come back with this album. They've really leveled up, especially with their lyrical sharpness and just being able to explore different elements of things that have caused a lot of grief in their life. It's a heavy and sometimes kind of mournful listen, but it feels very necessary. Because in a genre of like rap and hip hop where, you know, they often prioritize momentum more than meaning, Clipse is able to remind us that, you know, the truth hits the hardest when it's lived and delivered without any compromise. So I gotta say, this latest Clipse album, they've done a really good job. Great, I don't say, like I said, great comeback, but they've been gone for a long time and they're back. Pretty fantastic album. I would have to give it a nice and decent 9 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me what you think about this album. Give me your favorite Clipse song, your favorite No Malice, favorite Pusha T song, whatever. Until next time, guys, I will see you in the pit.